Welcome to Hey That's Me, a commentary podcast. I'm Patrick Ottner.
I'm Brian Lynch. Patrick, you told me right before we started this that this is the best episode you've ever recorded. I can't wait to hear which one is it that we did together.
Brian, today we're watching Mr. Roosevelt with writer, director, star Noël Wells.
Yeah, I wasn't there for this one.
I know. It was very sad. You got pulled into a work thing.
Well, here's the thing. I had never seen Mr. Roosevelt, and you told me to watch it, and I don't know if I've liked a first-time watch more than I've liked this one in years. This was such a good movie. It's so, like, right up my alley. It's so funny. Noël wrote, directed, and stars in it, and I was so sad that I couldn't be here for this one.
It was very fun, and I was so psyched that she wanted to do it. It's a really interesting conversation that we had, too, just hearing how she made this tiny movie and got so many cool people to be in it, and so many people whose careers have blown up since this movie. You know, Britt Lauer and Daniela Pineda, like two people who work so much now. Britt Lauer, of course, you know from Severance, and Daniela, you know from The Accountant 2 coming soon, and Jurassic World 2 and 3, and so many things.
Plane. She was in Plane, Patrick.
Oh, she was in Plane with Gerard Butler. You're right. Cowboy Bebop, the live action show.
She was great.
Anyways, I love Mr. Roosevelt. I had seen it, I think, when it first came out, or pretty soon when it first came out. I met Noël had done ASCAT, a show I produce at UCB New York, probably close to 10 years ago. And we had met very briefly when I was interning at SNL, which I bring up during this. And she was always one of my favorite cast members on that show. And I always wanted to see her do more stuff on that show and after being on that show. And she's great in season 1 of Master of None and so good on Star Trek Lower Decks. She's so funny on Lower Decks.
She also has an album out, by the way, which is fantastic, called It's So Nice with an exclamation point. Everyone should go check that out. It's fantastic.
And I think we're going to see a lot more from her, and I hope that she gets to direct another movie because she's very good at it. And this movie is kind of the perfect example of the writer, director, star in your own movie about going back to your hometown. You know what I mean? Like, It hits all the perfect beats, and it would be a movie that I would show people if I was trying to explain to them how to make their own movie starring themselves, you know?
Totally. It's by the way, I've since talked to her. I've never met Noël, but I've talked to her since, and on Instagram, and she told me she hated doing this with you. But that whatever that means, I thought that was really rude. She did not enjoy it.
Oh, that's good.
She there was something she could tell. She didn't know what, but she knew something was missing.
Yeah.
So I mean, I hope the audience likes it. She did not like it.
Well, I guess there's only one way to find out if the audience is going to like it.
Is your voice cracking? Oh, you're so sad.
Well,
Patrick, I was kidding. She had a great time. She had a great time. I can't wait to watch this one as a fan because
That's true.
I have never heard this commentary, so I get to hear it and play along at home.
It's available at the moment on Amazon Prime, and you can watch it on there. There are subtitles on Amazon Prime. There are no subtitles on the DVD. And that is something we get into in this episode.
Wow.
Even though she went through when this movie came out. I'll save it for the episode. She talks about it. I don't want to spoil it. All right, Brian. So if people are going to watch, they can pull it up now. And we're going to count down from 3 and say go. And on go, hit play. And you can watch along with us or just listen to it like a regular podcast. You ready?
Yep.
3, 2, 1, go.
All right. Here we are. Beachside.
Noël, here we are.
Here we are.
Mr. Roosevelt.
Mr. Roosevelt.
Give me the origins of Mr. Roosevelt. How did this start? How did this happen?
I've talked about it a lot, but I'll keep it short because people can look up this part. Yes. But I started writing just a really self-centered millennial when I was in college, and then I just kept writing her as time went on, and then eventually, I honed it in on the cat, and I thought it was funny because indie films are always like, you go home because somebody, a mom died or something, but I wanted it to be like something very small, but very important. And so it's like sort of like a satire of indie films, but I didn't want to completely make it satirical.
Sure.
I wanted it to still be a successful film.
How close was she to you?
I'm
sure that's a question you've gotten so many times.
I have, and she's not me. I wish I could have meltdowns and be really selfish and terrible. So this is like an alter ego.
Sure.
But I do think when I'm acting, I get to be like way more unhinged, and that's why I like it. But in my normal life, I'm very uptight, and I'm just very uptight. Yeah.
Let's talk about this girl a little bit. How did you find her? Yeah.
We cast her in Austin. We cast her, and she looks like the. So I was like, she looks like the white version of me, because I'm not a white girl, but I look like it, and so I'm like, that's what I wished I looked like when I was like a little girl. I mean, I kind of did look like her. I was just like more tan.
Okay. Yeah. That's so
and
funny.
she was so sweet. It was great. It was so cool. I love directing children, which is a strange thing, but I can get on their level, and I find them to be very fun.
She, how much
wow, look how skinny I was.
No, well, you're still very skinny.
No, but it's just different after the pandemic. I'm like almost 40.
A lot of things changed.
It's just I got curves.
That's okay though.
It's fine.
Let's talk about everyone in this room. This is what we're doing. We're just going through everything.
Yeah, totally. The people in this room. We cast everybody in this room except for Flint, who's my my writing partner now and my ex-boyfriend in the past, or my boyfriend from the past. And he was very such a sounding board for this entire movie, and he he was like, I should be a producer on this film. I should be a producer on this film. And so what I did was when the movie was done, I named him as a producer, but as the cast member, because he's like a producer in this room.
That's amazing. That's amazing.
He did not think it was very funny. Okay, this is my Holly Hunter impression.
Yes.
Yeah, I did that for my SNL
That's
audition.
What I was
Some
ask.
of these are half things I did for my actual Saturday Night Live impression, and half of them I wrote the night before we filmed this, because I wanted it to be like good impressions and really weird and dumb things.
Sure.
Yeah.
What did you do for your audition?
I did not do this girl that was cold. I think I just made her up. I did the Holly Hunter at the garage sale. I made Lorne Michaels laugh.
Great.
I did not do Kristen Wiig. Oh my God, they spelled Kristen Wiig wroung. That is not right.
Now let's talk about this, because I bought the DVD from Amazon. It showed
Pug turning into a baby. I wrote that morning. I
Very
was like, this
funny.
Is so silly, but it made me laugh the hardest.
Bought the DVD from Amazon. Said this is great. We'll watch it with Noel. It shows up, no subtitles.
If I had done a quality control on that,
that
makes me furious.
Yeah,
not furious, but it's just like, if we're gonna do something, we should do it right.
No, but it's great. You got 2 sales from me because I then rented it on Amazon.
Oh, great!
So now you got.
I have no idea where that money's going, but hopefully it'll show up one day.
Do you remember what made Lorne laugh?
My Holly Hunter made him laugh.
Yeah.
I actually, they say that the SNL stuff is like, or that when you audition for SNL, it's a really cold room. I auditioned in the studio twice, and it was really warm, and people laughed.
That's great.
This opening credits was designed, or the sequence was designed by Teddy Blanks, who is now, he's always been an extremely talented person, but he's getting a lot of attention now because he's done like Barbie and Nosferatu. He does he's just like doing all the coolest opening sequences. But all these photographs were photos I took in college, except for the ones with the cast members.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So we used like real photos that I took when I was in college in Austin.
Oh, that's amazing.
And then we mixed it in with things that we shot right before we filmed. So like the picture of the cat we shot like the week before we started filming, or
that's very cool.
And he had this idea for this Baldessari sort of like circles, but we wanted to keep it also very elementary. And
sure. Did you know him before? I
did not know him before. I met him through my producer for the movie, Michael Clark, who worked for Beachside and also now works for Big Beach. And he knew him, and I met Teddy through this process, and I actually lived with him for a summer for like a few weeks because I shot another movie, and then also we were doing some shoots for like post shoots for Mr. Roosevelt, and I was doing a little bit more of an edit, and so I actually lived in his apartment in Williamsburg.
Oh, amazing!
It was really romantic, honestly. Did
you? Well, I'm going to talk about Ryan Miller first, and then we'll talk about New York in general. But Ryan Miller, one of the best. Yeah, I love him. He's great.
That was so fun. He did the soundtrack for this very quickly, and then I flew to him, and
the leader of Guster, the band Guster, we should say. Yes.
And we had a really good time. He just came up with some things when I was there, and then some of the soundtrack like actually is like me doing vocal sounds and like being funny on it. But nobody knows. Like I'll point it out when I'm like, oh, that was me.
Yeah.
But he whipped it together. It's pretty. Musicians like that are just insane.
Did you know him before?
I did not know him before. No.
Wow.
No.
So this all was just. How many of the actors did you know before?
I knew a lot of the actors before.
Okay.
Yeah.
Where is this?
This is in Hollywood.
Okay, great. How many days did you shoot in LA?
2.
Okay.
We shot 2 days in LA.
Wow.
Yeah.
I mean, you got a lot in, I feel like.
Yeah, we really crammed in a lot for an indie film at the budget level that it was.
Yeah.
And I think people thought it was a lot more expensive.
Have you
than it
talked
was.
about how much?
No, and I would like to keep it a little
That's
bit
fine. Yeah.
quiet just because you want people to pay you as much as possible.
It was $45 million. We'll say
yes,
it.
no.
Was 40.
It was less. I'll say this.
Yes,
it was
less
than $1 million. It was less than $1 million.
Wow, that's great.
Yeah. But yeah, a lot of this movie is just like a million people doing us favors. Yeah.
It's nice to see Doug in things not playing himself.
I know. And he didn't know that he was shooting a movie. When I asked him to do this, he thought I was like having him come do a sketch. And he didn't really, I think I might, I hope I'm not getting this wrong, but he came and he did it. And then when the movie came out, he was like, wait, what? And he loves it. So he loves the movie. He would be at a lot of the film festivals doing his podcast, just separate from this.
Sure.
And he would sit through all the screenings and
That's
just
amazing.
laugh. And it was so satisfying because, as we know, Doug loves movies.
Famously.
And so if Doug loves your movie, I think you're in good company.
It's good, and it's very helpful. He's very like, he helps out a lot of smaller films and smaller filmmakers, and I think that's really great.
Yeah, and it's not bullshit. Like, he's very genuine about.
He loves movies, guys.
He has good taste too.
Yes,
So I knew I did a good job when he was laughing.
So now this is not UCB.
No, but this was just another black box theater we rented.
Okay. Because the exterior is UCB. You go.
Yeah, and then we did the exterior at UCB.
Was there a reason you didn't shoot at that theater?
I think we just couldn't, or this was cheaper.
Yeah.
And then UCB let us shoot out front. Like, we got permission. We did all the right things. And then
you don't need to get defensive.
No,
we did all the right things.
I'm just. Is this Birds though?
This is Birds.
Yeah. And we shot this at like 4 a.m.
Oh my god.
This is like 4 a.m. in the morning.
Great.
There's Sergio. He's so funny.
So
South by Southwest.
Did you live in Austin?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. How long
I'm from
were you there?
Texas.
I knew that.
I went to college in Austin, and I went to school for 5 years because I was doing 2 degrees, and I almost dropped out of college because I was burnt out. And then I discovered film photography one summer when I was interning in New York. And then I decided to finish my film degree because I started taking photos, and I realized like I actually had an eye, like a directorial eye.
Of course.
And so I did 1 more year and finished and got my degree, and then I moved to LA.
Cool. How much time did you spend in New York overall? Because it
You know,
sounds like you were there a few times.
I've been to New York so many times. I've never lived there more beyond work or something very specific. Does that make sense?
Yeah,
so I lived there for an internship. I lived there for SNL.
Yeah.
I lived there for a movie. I lived there for Master of None.
Oh yeah.
But I have yet to just live there.
Okay.
But I feel like New York is like a second home to me. I wish I had a place there.
I mean, that's a lot of time.
It's a lot of times, and I get it now.
Sure.
This was my friend Tim Neenan's actual apartment. I wrote this scene for his apartment because I thought it was so funny that his kitchen was next to the bed, and I didn't.
Great.
And this is Armin Weitzman.
Is this a weird scene to film?
I don't know.
You did it though.
I did it. I didn't think it was weird. The only part that was weird about this was that Tim's landlord found us filming it in the middle of the night, and we did not ask him permission, and he was very angry.
Oh, wow.
And he was like, "You need to get out. Get out." And my producer, Michael, was just had to calm him down. And we were just like, "All right, do the blowjob harder and faster."
This is so funny. Him stopping.
And all the
to
things
tweet us.
in his apartment right now were things that I took from my studio apartment when I first moved from LA. I kept a pile of things, being like, I have the saddest. Like when I first moved to LA, I had the saddest like collection of things, and even when I like moved out, like all of this stuff was in my apartment. So I just took a box of the saddest things from my first studio apartment and decorated his apartment. Like these things on the wall were all from Austin when I lived, I like moved to LA anyway.
Yeah.
Just sad girl things, like a ukulele.
The saddest girl thing.
Thrift store pictures of a dog and a photograph of a lonely lost man.
Do you have a favorite city that you've lived in?
LA is it was supposed to be the joke is you think I went to another room.
That's funny.
And it turns out it's just the same room. I don't know if it ever paid off because nobody ever really laughed at the reveal, but that was my intention.
An interesting bed frame too he had. It was just like one little slat. Is this the Austin
Yes, this
airport?
is actually the Austin airport.
Was that hard to get permission to film it?
I don't think so. That part I wasn't as hard. For some of this stuff, it was like yes or no.
Yeah.
Like, are we going to do, and then if it's a no, we got to figure something else out. This actress we cast, she was from Austin. She was awesome. A lot of things between the like characters that only have like one or two lines, they were fully improvised.
Oh,
so
wow.
her trying to no, I don't know. Actually, this might have been in the script where she tries to take the bag and then Emily's like, no, because that's how I feel in life when people push me.
Sure.
But all this stuff in the car, we're just filming her.
Oh, that's great. I mean, she feels like a real person, which I think is very impressive and very, says a lot about her. Knowing that it's improvised,
yes, it's improvised, and we just were driving in circles right there. I think, or there's a part. Yeah, she just ran over a curb for real, and we kept it in.
That's great.
The hardest part of this movie was finding the clinic.
Oh, okay. Is it a real clinic?
So, no spoilers, but
I assume you've seen the movie before if you're watching
if you're
it
watching
with
this, I'm assuming. But the idea is like you weren't supposed to know that it was a pet at first, and I believe we tricked people like before they.
Yeah.
Most people think it's like a real person.
Yeah.
So the idea is like we wanted it to feel like an actual hospital or an actual like somebody might actually be dying, but we just could not find something that felt like a vet also, especially because we didn't have a lot of money.
Yeah.
So this was the vet that we ended up being like, this is the closest version of that. And also I had to make other decisions about why this vet, like the other scenes that we wanted to film here, what would be the funniest, what already had enough set decoration. But I think it ultimately ended up working. It looks so good now that I'm seeing this. It's like so many years later. But it's so lived in, and it's so, and we found, we didn't do much to this place. Brit's
so good.
She's on Severance. Everybody's like texting me, being like, "It's so weird."
She's so good.
I'm like, "Is it?" She's just a very talented person.
Yeah.
It just makes sense to me.
But everyone in this movie is really good. Like Daniela's great.
Daniela
great.
is
like,
incredible.
Everyone you got for it is really.
It's almost like I'm a good director.
Oh, interesting. Interesting. Huh.
It's so weird. If only I could do it again.
Yeah, give her another movie.
Yeah.
16 millimeter.
This is 16 millimeter.
Was that most of your budget?
No, it's not even that much more expensive. We did have to finagle some stuff. I gave up my directing fee so that we could shoot on film.
Okay.
So we did this thing where they ended up paying me $1 to direct because they had to pay me something contractually, which is very sweet because I have it framed. I think it's $1, but I have it framed. Nice. My payment from Mr. Roosevelt is like a joke amount. And then we put that towards the film budget, but ultimately considering how little we had to do in post because it looks so good, I do think it
was the right move for sure.
It looks awesome.
It looks amazing.
It still looks amazing.
Yeah.
It has the indie aesthetic I was going for,
Totally.
Like all the references I had in my mind of knowing my first movie was going to be very limited in budget, but I wanted it to feel very how do you say, evergreen?
Yeah.
It's I think it would be hard to place this in a time period in a way.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if there's anything in this movie besides like your phone.
Right?
That's like the only thing.
Yeah,
and there's not really any way around that. Like
yeah, that's right.
I think so.
Oh wow, yeah. And the Instagram, there's like Facebook stuff.
Yeah. How did Britt come on board?
We had offered this to some actresses, and then she's with my manager.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And I had a very specific person in mind. Like people were trying to push other people, and I'm like, no, she has to be aspirational. She has to be somebody that's prettier than Emily. And like has it together. Has it together.
Yeah.
And Britt Lauer very much
has it together.
Yeah. She's a very beautiful and centered human,
and also like came from the comedy world too, which I think a lot of people don't necessarily know if you only know her from Severance.
Oh my gosh. Also, this is my favorite scene because they look so tall. I think I shot them. I had them go up a little bit higher on the embankment so that she looked like a kid.
They look so tall.
And then when she's like, shh, shh, shh.
Yeah.
So
you
this
are
is my favorite.
in
I
her
feel
stomach.
so successful as a director in this moment, as a comedic director.
I mean, that shot is amazing.
That shot.
Yes. Yeah, that alone should get you a Marvel movie right there.
There are some things that I just really feel like I did not execute the way I wanted, but this scene I love it.
Yeah.
Because she looks like a baby. And I say she, whenever I'm editing myself, I have to not talk about it as me. But Emily, the character, looks like a baby.
Looks like a little tiny baby child. Yes. How close is this to what you originally thought it was going to be?
This is so funny. So we had a location scouted so many houses.
Yeah.
And nothing was working because we didn't have a really big production design budget. And I felt like it was like the production design it has to be a reflection of this person. So it has to be incredible. And we were just not finding anything. And so I ended up finding somebody that had an aspirational Instagram and we reached out to her, and her name was Claire Zanecker.
A great name.
And we were like, listen, we found you through Instagram and through, I think, a reference from a friend. Your place is perfect. Everything in it is perfect. Can we shoot at your place? And she said yes.
Wow.
So we put some things in here.
Yeah.
And maybe moved a few things around. Like some of it, we had to put some of like Britt's characters' things around. But most of this is Claire's.
I mean, it's so cool.
Decoration.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
How many days did you shoot there? Do you remember?
In her house?
Yeah.
I don't remember how many days we shot in the house.
What about in general?
I think it was 22 days.
Yeah.
I think we did 22 days total.
It's not a lot, but that is also a healthy amount for a
when
movie of that size.
I know when I tell people how many days, they were like, what? Well, my movie, we only got this. And I was like, hey, listen, I'm special. No,
Sure.
just kidding. But we shot as many days as we had to.
Yeah. That's cool.
Yeah.
Was there ever talk of Nick keeping the full beard?
I think he came and he had the full beard.
Yeah.
And we took all these photos with him with the beard. But then she has to clean him up.
Of course.
Yeah. So no.
Yeah.
So it was great that he had a beard.
I wonder if that's hard for him to be like, I guess I'll shave this thing I've been growing for
I don't know. He was so game.
Yeah.
I offered him the part and he just got on a plane, flew down.
Cool.
It was so cool. Like everyone was so game.
Yeah.
And
People
very
like making things.
Respectful.
Yeah. Yeah, I think
she sucks, man. Emily sucks so bad. Here I am getting to do some of my goofy stuff.
Yeah.
This is what I wanted, There was so much more of this kind of stuff in the movie that we ended up having to like scale back because ultimately it's like I wanted to keep the story on track.
Yeah.
More so it being a showcase for how
Facebook
goofy
does not look that different from now. It's like it is clearly a few years ago, but the interface for Facebook, I'm just thinking about it being dated. It doesn't look that different.
No. In fact, I feel like, honestly, I'm one of the first people to have done stuff like this.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because I see people do like it just feels like it's now so common.
Yeah.
But I also thought it was really trippy to be on Facebook, but to be filming it on film. So to be filming a computer with 16 millimeter, I thought was so weird.
Yeah.
but cool.
Who was in charge of making the fake Facebook profiles?
I did.
Okay.
I made all of these.
Do these profiles?
I still get emails from Facebook being like, your Facebook's about to be deleted.
So
like,
they still exist.
A lot of them are getting deleted this year, like like summer winters or something. Like all the fake people.
Yeah.
Like I'm getting emails from
sad.
Gmail being like, your email.
That's pretty sad.
Yeah, but I did all this, and this was like.
That's amazing.
And we shot the Facebook inserts in New York. I think maybe in Teddy's place or something.
Oh wow, okay.
Yeah, so these inserts were shot in New York.
Great picture.
Just some afternoon redecorating.
Yeah.
How good is she as this?
I mean, she's great in everything.
I'm still jealous of her.
Yeah, I get it. I get it.
How does Celeste have a boy? I still don't have a boyfriend. This is so weird. I guess I am like that. That is what makes me similar to Emily.
Yeah.
Is that
You still don't have a boyfriend.
I still don't have a boyfriend.
But I guess that means you did a good job making her aspirational.
Totally.
Because she still is.
Yeah.
This
was written in the script, which I think is so funny. Her wiping her face on a towel and being like, let me look at the tag. Hissing at the mirror. Oh, wait, no, not yet. No more braids.
Yeah.
No, that's a hiss, not a growl.
Well, I
subtitles.
heard someone wrote the subtitles.
You know what's weird is I
was talking about you.
I know.
For the
remember,
listener.
No, I know, but I remember being sent the subtitles and making all sorts of corrections.
Yeah.
And I'm watching this and I'd be like, I would not have let that get past me. So
maybe they didn't even do it.
Maybe they didn't use it right. And it's very annoying when you do work and then it doesn't translate to your own work. There's like an efficiency issue with all this like back and forth with technology that drives me insane.
You're saying Amazon's not a good company? Is that what you're saying?
I have no idea. I have no comment. But you know what's great about the Klonopin falling out? That was an accident.
Oh, cool.
It just fell out and we just went with it. It was perfect. There were so many things like that.
I mean, sometimes that's when it's the best.
Yeah.
Is when you're like, I could not have planned for this.
I want to give a shout out to my DP Dalmar Weaver Madsen. Look how beautiful this is.
Yeah.
A lot of our shots we would only get to shoot it like one setup because there just wasn't time. Mm-hmm. This one I think was 2. We had the close up and then we had the wider shot, but we taped that picture there. There were some things that we put.
You have to, yeah. The tape is great. Is it just you and the camera person in that bathroom?
Yes. Yeah. Maybe sound too.
Okay. Oh yeah, that would make sense.
Yeah.
How many people did you have on the crew?
I don't know. It was a lot.
Yeah.
There were so many people. It was very overwhelming. Sometimes I was like, I think maybe there are too many people. But there were like a core group of people that were really locked in.
Yeah.
And then there were other people that were, because we shot in the summer, so it was like hot in Texas. So there's just like also like another ring of people just really disgruntled about how hot it was. Sure. I like watching this without the sound on. You can tell what's going on.
It's a silent movie. It's like, I mean, you're all so expressive in different ways and like it reads without it.
Yeah.
So next time that'll save you some money. You don't need to hire a sound guy.
Yeah, maybe I do need to just Charlie Chaplin this.
Yes. Is this, if you were to make another movie, is this the kind of movie you would like to make again? Or what is the, what's the Noël dream?
If I were going to make another movie, right now I have 2 scripts written.
Okay.
And I'm about to start writing a 3rd script. I hope it's my career is being a filmmaker.
Yeah.
We're just in a strange time.
Yeah.
Where, we're just in a strange time.
Mm-hmm.
I want to have a production company or something because I want to have it in control. But the movie that I wrote after this is so different. And so it still has a level of irreverence and has like a storytelling flair that's, I think, similar, but it's so much darker and angrier. Sure. and challenging. It feels like like I wrote a movie 10 years later. So, and then the other movie that the one I wrote after that, I think is more, I would consider this movie like a type of bonkers. Mm-hmm. The movie I wrote, the second one that's like just sitting on a pile has a level of the bonkers in it, cool. Which, and then the movie the movie that I am working on right now, I feel like you can trace it from this film, but it's very big. Okay. It's like there's interdimensional stuff in it. Cool. Yeah. So I would say this is the indie movie. Yeah. And then the other movies are maybe indie, but they're going to have...
Well, I mean, you're the sci-fi girl now. You're just coming off a few years on Star Trek. You're sci-fi
It's interesting because I do feel in my soul that I'm a sci-fi type of person. Mm-hmm. I think of things in dimensionally. I don't know how else to describe it. Interesting. But I might end up being a sci-fi person. Yeah. Yeah, it's that I'm a dork and I'm a nerd. I'm like and I think about the sky a lot and I think about aliens and I think about how are we here and I so the movie I'm working on right now is interdimensional and is about like the nature of consciousness.
Oh wow.
Yeah. Just like Mr. Roosevelt actually.
Yes.
The thing about Mr. Roosevelt, it was a movie to me about different perspectives. So in a way, it is an interdimensional consciousness. It's like, what is whose opinion? What, if you look at it through her eyes,
yes.
It's like really important.
Sure, of
Yeah.
course. That's so funny. Do you think working on a show like Lower Decks like opened you up to being like, I'm gonna do sci-fi stuff, I'm gonna try it? Like, did that change your life in any way in that regard?
It did change my life in the way that people like the character so much, and that is so much who I am, which is just such a geek.
Yeah.
And the fact that it turns out there's a whole audience of people that like when women are just excitable and like into what they're doing.
Mm-hmm.
That was just very helpful to me on that level, where if I continued leaning into how excited I get about everything, like one of the things that was hard for me about making an indie film is there are a lot of people that come to filmmaking for a lot of different reasons. But for me, I'm just like a passionate nerd and just so excited about putting amazing people together. I get excited about little pops of color here and there. And I guess Star Trek helped me see that other people care about those sorts of things.
Sure, yeah.
Like that they care about details just as much as I care about details, and that I'm not a weirdo for that.
No, and that fan base gets very into the details, and
the kinds of details I get excited about aren't necessarily the exact same thing, because the Star Trek universe is so big, it's hard for me to wrap my mind around it. But I do have a universe within me that I get just as passionate about.
That's great.
And so when I look at a frame, I get excited about how like
that guy in the background.
Exactly. I was just about to say that extra in the blue.
He's great.
I can't believe it. I'm like, where did they find this?
Yes. But all of the extras, even the guy behind you right now is great.
Glass, I love it. It's so, and I love that we got them there, and that this was all happening while we were. And this was also shot in the middle of the night.
Oh, wow.
This was shot from like 6 p.m. to 6
a.m.
Yeah.
Well, you can't afford to close down a restaurant.
Exactly.
Like, that's got to be.
We shot this at Justine's. So when I was in college.
There she is.
There she is. When I was in college, Justine's was like such a nice restaurant that if you could afford to go eat there.
Yeah.
And so when I was like, if I make a movie, can we do it at Justine's? And I remember when I first went to Justine's when I was in college, the water glasses were so short and small. And I was like, this must be what rich people do, is they put water in little glasses. So that was like the height of luxury.
Yeah.
So to me, little glasses are rich people
Rich,
things.
of course, yeah.
Not just a big plastic.
The more money
glass.
You have, the less water you can drink.
Exactly.
That's how it works.
Or just, it's like as you sip your tiny little glass of water, someone will come around and fill it.
Yeah, yeah.
Daniela is so good.
Yes.
And
how
she's
did you meet Daniela?
So
real wild card. Let's just put it out there. First of all, she's a wild woman.
She's a wild woman.
We love her.
As time has gone on, me and Daniela have like become so tight because I think we're both realizing like we have very similar senses of humor. And while we filmed it, I was so in my head during the filming that I don't think we connected like that. But she makes me laugh more than anybody on the planet. And sorry, I'm just thinking of some of she does. Anyway, the movie I'm working on right now is with her.
Oh, good.
And so it's going to be really awesome.
Oh, that's
because
great.
She's so incredible.
Yes, I love her.
I met her through my manager, Kirsten Ames.
Oh, wow.
So Daniela and Britt, we both have the same manager. Yeah. So we all happen to be in this movie together.
I think I met Daniela. I don't know if you remember this. I interned at SNL the year you were there. I was a post-production intern.
I don't remember.
I would not have interacted a lot with you.
Okay,
This is just me telling you. I was on the other side of the hallway. But I met Daniela with another intern who she's friends with Chelsea Fry. And we went to Club Coming together and went to a cabaret show thing and just spent a night on the town in New York. And it was amazing. And then reconnected like during COVID and out here. And she's done a bunch of shows and stuff for me out here. She's great.
She's awesome.
Yeah.
She's in the movie The Accountant that just came out.
Yes.
Ben Affleck. She was posting about how she got to meet Matt Damon.
Yeah.
Which is great because we're basically Ben Affleck and Matt Damon. Her and
You are our generation's Ben Affleck and Matt Damon.
I think we are.
Yeah.
I think we need to own it.
Yeah.
I love this. Yeah. This is something that I used to actually do.
Throw water on people?
No. So me and Flint, like anytime it was, I forget where I learned this, but it's like a type of pattern interrupt. So if you're like spiraling, you just have to sort of interrupt. And anytime we would be spiraling about our careers, we'd be like, all right, let's throw water in each other's faces. And at the very least, it would make you laugh.
Yeah.
And that gets you to a higher state. So that's where it came from.
Wow.
Yeah.
Is that a single take thing? Or are you drawing yourself off? Yeah,
I think maybe we did too. Also, this scene in and of itself, we shot it and then the film spooled out and they had to lock the bathroom and air and like light seal it while they tried to re-spool it. And so we only had one take of it after everything was scratched.
That's so stressful.
So that's movie making.
No,
baby.
I know.
But what you see there, the take you see there was the only one that wasn't destroyed.
Wow.
Which is, you know,
but it's great because it works.
It worked for the film, and we got exactly what we needed.
Mm-hmm. One of my favorite things in movies is people like going.
Hey, I just want to point out,
of course,
I was like sticking out my stomach so hard because I wanted her to be bloated from eating bread.
That's very funny.
So I'm just trying my best to make her
very
look
funny.
like she has a gluten allergy or something. Okay.
I was gonna say I like people going through doors.
Yes.
Because like there's this, I think it's in Eraserhead they talk about. They go through the door and on one side it's like 1973 and on the other side it's 1976 because they like couldn't get the money to finish the movie. So he like ages 3 years as he goes through the door, but it's not even something that's supposed to be in the movie. But I just like the idea of someone shooting one side and then like days later coming back and closing the door or something like that. I think
that's beautiful. It's a portal.
Yes.
And also in this one we used the door opening. Oh. I was like, what happened? That was
commercial break.
We used the door as a jump cut.
Oh, sure.
There was this whole scene in the hallway that we ended up cutting, and so the doors became the point of jumping through time.
Oh, wow.
So it was just jumping through 10 minutes, but
yeah.
it still is exactly what you're saying.
It's the Eraserhead theory.
Yeah. I'm very much, the whole time I was making this movie, I was thinking, what would David Lynch do?
Yes.
No.
Maybe the most Severance shot of this movie
right
is
here.
her looking up and it's just all white.
Yeah.
And it's Britt Lauer. And you're like, that's basically Severance right there. Yeah.
That was literally the idea was like, I think the way it was written in the script is exactly how it looks, which was like, she's just like surrounded by white.
Yeah.
And it's like a very pure, she's so pure.
Yes.
Passive aggressive. And
your hair's very messy in this scene. Is that something you get in your head about, or you just have to let it go when you're doing something like this?
That is actually a character choice, Patrick.
Okay, great. great.
Thanks a lot. Literally, well, first of all, in Austin, my hair it's very humid in Austin, and my hair is just always frizzy.
Yeah.
And
you just woke up. There's obviously reasons for it, but
through the whole movie, she's unkempt until the very, very last scene. We put like a little bit of but the idea is like she does not brush her hair.
Yeah.
My one of the editors that worked on it, she said she really appreciated that I let her hair be frizzy because she has frizzy hair, and she's like, we never see women's hair be wild, and I was like, yeah, it's definitely. I did just get a blowout for the first time.
Oh, wow.
And I was like, oh, so that's how much work it takes to make your hair look nice? It's like, that's a lot of energy, ladies.
Do you think you'll do it again?
Yes, it looked awesome.
Great. You guys had to take a lot of photos for this.
Yeah, and we shot all of these before we shot. Oh my God, I forget Nick Thun's little booty.
His little butt.
We're all naked in this film. We all get naked. You'd think with all this nudity, we would have all been working a lot more after this. I know. Like,
you
guys.
Start with the nudity, and then you get the other gigs. Is that what kind of conversation is that?
What do you mean?
Like with him? Are you like?
I think
we got to see your little butt.
I think it was in the script, and I think everyone was kind of showing a little something, and I also think hopefully everybody felt safe.
Yeah.
But his little booty was so cute.
Was there a part of you that related to her in we're not at it yet, but like making the viral videos online and making the comedy? You're the comedy girl. You're going back home. Like, did that happen to you?
The only part that sometimes I relate to Emily is that people refer to my work as content.
Mm-hmm.
And it's annoying. And sometimes then I'll say content and then I'm like, ew, what am I doing?
Yeah.
That's the only part, really. I think we just are in this world where making a movie, unless you're already like a super famous director, there's something a little, it's already, people are like, oh, you're doing your little thing.
Yeah.
There's a little bit of that.
Yeah.
A little bit of you're doing your little thing. Even when this movie came out, people would talk to me like that and be like, oh, I saw it. Oh, that's so cute. You made a movie. And I would be so angry in a way, because I'd just be like, God, you just don't get it. Like how hard I worked. But I like,
and how much time you put into it.
And how much time and how this doesn't just like accidentally happen.
Totally.
But this is a little uncomfortable watching Nick Thune kiss my neck. I'll just say I had never had sex before this moment. I was just like, wow, a man's kissing me. This is very uncomfortable.
Let's shoot it quick.
Quick before
roll the film.
Wow. Yeah.
That's why you had to cut away to the cat.
Exactly. I was like, oh my God, he's still kissing me. That is a little weird. I'm sure. I think there were like moments, everyone was okay with being a little naked.
Yeah.
It was clear none of us had ever had sex. I'm just kidding. You know what I mean? Where we're just like,
that was part of the audition process. You were like, have you had sex? No? Great.
Okay,
you're
cool,
in.
Cool. Because none of us are sexually literate
here.
Yes.
Except the cat.
Except for the cat. Wow.
The cat weirdly was
I love the arrows in the background. Those were on the wall, and just like stuff like that, where it's just these little motifs that were Claire's and on Claire's, but we just framed it in a very specific way.
Do you have an eye for that stuff? Like, how is your apartment nice like this?
So my apartment is interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I one time had a friend who's like good at interior decorating. She came to see my place and she goes, "It's so you," which was felt so mean.
Yes.
But I'm like, yeah, which is cool, I guess. Like I'm certainly not a good at interior decorating, but I would agree that it is so me. It's very artistic. Mm-hmm. I found this shirt. I got that shirt at a clothing swap in college, and I took it because I was like, when I make my first movie, I'm gonna put it in.
The one you're wearing, or the Clerks one?
The Clerks one.
Yes, of
I
course.
found it at a clothing swap, and I was like,
That's
this
amazing.
is gonna go in my and then I did. I held on to it.
Well, I mean, it weirdly is.
My Clerks.
It is your Clerks.
It is.
This is your Clerks. Yeah.
Yeah. Also, her name is Emily Loretta Martin because every character. Well, no, I'm just gonna keep it to myself. I have to make another movie before I start telling people this stuff.
Okay. Are you a Kevin Smith girl? Like, what were your...
I am more just like, I'm a filmmaker girl.
Yeah.
And anybody who's making their stuff and figuring it out, I'm a fan of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What were your favorite movies growing up?
My favorite, well, it's interesting. There were so many different phases of it. Mm-hmm. But I was a huge Coen Brothers person. Mm-hmm. So I remember when that Fargo came out, I was like, this is my favorite movie. And I was like 10. And people were like, oh, really? I'm like, I'm not being cute. It's really my favorite movie. But like a movie like Raising Arizona is totally my, like, I like that they can be dark, but then also have this comedic sensibility. When I was in college, I was like a Stanley Kubrick. Mm-hmm. I was like, oh, this is how my mind works. Yeah. Like, this is my sense of humor. And this is how which, you know, he has a sci-fi energy as well.
Sure. Got a lot of great sci-fi movies.
Right.
Too, yeah.
And so there was something like ringing in my brain being like, oh, it's like this.
Yeah.
It's like this. So I don't know. I like so many filmmakers.
Yeah. You cast that guy, or did he just show up?
That guy used to work. Yeah, exactly. I used to work with him. I used to work at this show in Austin called Esther's Follies, and his name is Crazy Carl.
Great.
And he's been with that show for like 40 years.
Cool.
And he has boobs, and so his bit is he wears like a bikini top, and I think he hula hoops. I don't know exactly what he does, but he like does it with his boobs out.
Wow.
And that's like part of his
Crazy
draw.
Carl.
And then he does like cameos within the show, which is like a vaudeville show.
Amazing.
I used to be a magician's assistant in the show.
Can you do magic?
What do you think movies are?
Boo.
Boo. Sleight of hand, a magician. No, I don't know how you guys feel about magicians.
I like magicians. I like going to the Magic Castle. okay, we're getting a lot of silence on the other end over here.
I like real magic. No, I don't know what I'm trying to. What I was thinking.
Yeah.
I have no problems with magicians.
Okay. I just saw Penn and Teller in Vegas a few months ago.
I love Penn and Teller.
Yes, me too. Me too.
Wow, that must have been amazing.
It was very cool. They have their own theater. Like with 60
cool.
foot tall pictures of them on the walls. Like
See,
it's insane.
That's again like.
Yeah. And they just
Wow.
show up every night and they do it. And that's their
what
life.
I want with my life.
Yeah.
Just doing my shit.
Yeah.
This house that we shot at, it took a long time to find this place as well, to be sort of Jen's cohabitating. You know, and this was at the beginning of Airbnb, but the idea was like too many people live here, which is kind of more and more everybody's story.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's so funny, and people still think when we were in like the notes process of the movie, people were like, we thought this was going to become a lesbian movie.
Sure.
And so we had to cut out other scenes that made it seem like that. But still, people, like, if you look online, people are like, we thought Jen and Emily were going to get together.
Oh, interesting.
And for me, it never crossed my mind.
Yeah.
That would be a thing. But I did want them to have like a friend love.
Yeah.
Like two women can be in love with each other, but it not be necessarily sexual.
Totally.
Like it's interesting that the kids are always like, if you love someone, you got to go down on them. Like, you know, sometimes people just love each other or have like an intense attraction that's
it's a different relationship. Yeah.
It's a different kind of it's a friendship that's loving and intimate.
Yeah.
But yeah, everybody thinks that they're going to be lesbians, and maybe they are. I don't know. Sometimes I'm wondering if maybe that's why I don't have a boyfriend. Like, I'm always like,
oh, sure. Because you're like, maybe I'm supposed to be with Daniela.
Totally.
Did you guys have to close this down?
No, we did not close this down. We shot this at like 7 a.m.
Oh, wow.
We did it in public. Everyone who got cast was very aware of what they were getting into, but it was very, very nerve-wracking to have these actresses who are also, a lot of them, they're not actresses, but they auditioned.
Is one of them in a band?
One of them's in the band. Yeah. Actually, two of them are in a band.
Yeah.
But they're all creative, but you know, I think this is their first on-screen role, and so you had to be so sensitive, and I was just so scared. I was like, I don't want to mess this up. I don't want anybody to feel uncomfortable. Yeah. But then again, everybody, when we were auditioning,
they knew what they were doing.
I was like, you're gonna show your boobs. Yeah. I'm gonna show my boobs too. But we all gonna show our boobs. Sorry. So also, sometimes I think like I get nervous that it's weird, but I forget that I'm a woman. So that I'm not really like a guy making them feel uncomfortable.
You're not the creep in the room.
I'm not, but I get nervous that I will come off as one.
Yes. So, yeah.
But yes, this did happen to me in Austin.
Oh, wow.
I would go to the watering hole and all the girls would just like rip off their tops. And I'm like, how is everyone so confident?
Is that what this place, there's Andre, yep. Is Andre that what Highland. This place is? Is this a...
Yeah, this is, okay. This is, where is this? This is the Green Belt. And there's all these watering holes in Austin and these little nature reserves. And in Austin, you don't have to, like, it's legal to just be topless anywhere in the city.
Wild.
But people go here and they are nude often.
Wild.
Yeah.
Were there other people around watching you guys?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No, this was an intense... This was an intense thing. Also, I did not have a script supervisor.
Oh, wow.
And this was one of the hardest scenes to shoot because there were so many things being passed around. And if you watch for continuity, it's terrible. Also, I'm laughing. Like, I was like laughing.
Yeah, of course.
Because I'm trying my hardest not to just crack up.
Is there a sense of we need to shoot this in an hour? Like, are you like, come on, let's do it?
No, I think it was just literally, we have to shoot this in an hour.
Yeah.
I think we shot this within an hour. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess that's what's nice about indie movies at this budget is like, you're not waiting around for the lights to get changed. And like, you know what I mean? Like,
I also think sometimes that kind of stuff is like an egoic thing.
Yeah.
And it's really annoying. For me, there will be a moment in my career where I really want to have something look a very specific way, but I get really excited when I walk into a space and I see light in a corner. And I'm like, let's just get this now.
Yeah.
This scene becomes another scene that you shoot. That's like you have a little bit more time. Like, those girls aren't just like topless on the side.
Sure.
They're having fun.
They can be if they want to be.
They can
but
be.
Not,
I think when we were shooting this scene, they were all out like actually enjoying their afternoon or they're enjoying their day.
Yeah.
Lindsay actually was like sunbathing this day, and a dog ran across her face. It's so fucked up. She had to go to the emergency room and get stitches inside of her mouth because the dog. And I was like, oh my God, is she okay? Is she okay?
Yeah.
She was so cool about it. Wow. But I was like, I don't want someone to have gotten like disfigured on my movie, but she was fine and she's totally fine.
It's also a weird situation where you're like, are we responsible for this?
Oh, you are.
Yeah. I mean, even though it's not your dog, it's not,
we are. There's like, but that's why you have insurance on thing.
Yeah.
But it was really stressful. And maybe something I shouldn't have said out loud because it makes me a little superstitious that she got hurt.
Yeah.
But she's okay. She's totally fine.
It's been a decade.
It's been a decade. Okay. We're friends.
Yes.
She's a really great band. Great. It's called Annabelle Chairlegs. One of their songs is in the movie.
Check them out.
She's like a rock star. She's not like a rock star. She is a rock star.
A rock star. This is a fun movie to watch on mute.
It is because it works.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah. Where did this premiere?
This premiered at South by Southwest.
That's cool.
Yeah, which is happening right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, we premiered at the Paramount Theater.
A good theater there.
It was incredible. It was such a cool. They really tried to get it into Sundance, and Sundance rejected us.
I think it's better that it's South by. Like
100%. I was like, it's cool. They can reject us, and then we ended up getting this incredible premiere with hundreds and hundreds of people in the crowd, and it was so fun. And
that's so cool.
People laughed at everything.
Yeah,
it was so cool to see like everything hitting.
Is there anything that hit more than you thought it would hit? I'm sure it was also a blur, so it's okay.
I'll think about it.
Yeah.
Well, like the cat cake further in the movie, it made me laugh.
Yeah.
But when we screened it for the first time, people laughed so fucking hard.
That feels so good.
And I was like, damn, I love when an audience is smart, you know, because sometimes you don't know if they'll pick up on the things that you are.
Totally.
Yeah.
Totally.
But yeah, no, when we screened this in Austin, everything that made me laugh, they laughed at.
That's cool.
It was surreal.
That's cool.
Look how cute they all are.
Everyone's having fun.
Oh my gosh, we shot this in slow-mo.
How much of the 16 versus any other kind of, version of film, what was that discussion? Like, was it always going to be 16?
Oh, yeah, it was always going to be 16. Because I wanted it to be 16. I wanted it to have a little bit of
grit.
Yes. I was going to say I wanted it to still feel scrappy.
Sure.
And nostalgic. But it doesn't look like 16.
Look at those people watching you in the back.
It was an open set. Look how gorgeous everyone is.
Yeah. Yeah. And the sun is great. Like,
yeah. I had a little booger in my nose there. It just always bothers me.
Uh-huh. You guys didn't have a CG budget to get rid of the booger?
We didn't, but if I had a little bit more energy, I think I would have painted it out myself. There was a certain point where I was like, I have no more life force in me.
How long was the post on this?
It was kind of long because we did it in a few stages. I think for our editing, I had to edit the movie in 6 weeks. But then we did a couple rounds of notes, and then I did one more round of editing in New York where after we had let it sit for a little bit, and then I went through I think color correction was 2 days.
Oh, wow.
Then,
That's pretty short for color correction.
Yeah.
That feels quick.
But it was pretty.
You wanted it to look like this, too.
It was very direct. Like when they originally did their own pass, and they made a lot of swings, and I said, actually, we really have to make this as true to the film color as possible because we did all the production design, or at least the decisions I was making was based on the film stock. So I was like, just treat this as like you were dropping off film at Walgreens and do the color pass that Walgreens would do. And then once we did that, it was super easy just to start honing in on all little things and like making the reds. I was always trying to make the reds a very specific red and the blues because it's like primary colors. As you can see in this scene,
blue, yellow, red. Look at this.
Yes, I didn't want it to be heavy-handed primary colors, but anytime it showed up, it was like that was the baseline for the color correction.
Yeah,
I loved this. I loved casting these women because they were supposed to look alike.
Oh yeah.
The joke to me was like, I get confused because they're different women, but they're
similar.
Like,
yeah.
I met you before, but that's
very funny.
Yeah, that's literally dumb little things like that. Like where I'm like, that makes me laugh. Because I look around and I'm always like, why are there so many people that are like very similar?
Yeah. You guys are like 5 degrees off from each other or whatever.
So close, and you sound similar, but not. It's weird. This was one of my favorite scenes to shoot, actually, because it was anytime she was like very energized, we really got in the flow of making really quick decisions shooting. Dahmer did this whole movie handheld, so she was camera operating.
Wow.
So this became, as she called it was like very much a dance.
Yeah.
So it'd be her and me like dancing and figuring it out very often in the moment. And it'd be like, oh, we have to do it as her point of view, and we're creeping around.
Sure.
And this scene makes me laugh so hard. We had to create the gold drill because at that time, so we our department we spray painted a drill.
I mean, it looks like something she would have.
Exactly. I think now you could probably buy a gold drill, but back in the day, we didn't have that many.
You were the red stapler from Office Space. This was
the
your
DIY aesthetic, or like everyone having, like DIY is so big now with Instagram. I feel like you can get a tool now in any color, but Celeste started it.
Where did the name Celeste come from?
You know what's so fucked up? I realized like I accidentally named it after somebody's girlfriend.
Oh no. Oh no.
And I didn't realize it till later, but I thought the name was I liked the name, the way that it sounded, sort of like you could make it sound negative if you wanted to. Like it can be very beautiful, or it can be like Celeste. But I'm sorry. That was just an accident, me naming it after that person's girlfriend.
Have you ever had a conversation with them about it?
No.
Okay, cool.
No, I think also I did see this person walking down the street and they ignored me.
Yeah.
And then I was like, oh no, maybe they're mad at me.
Yeah. Yeah.
It was just an accident, my friend. It was just, I thought her name was cool.
No, it's a good name.
It's a cool name.
It's a good name. What about Emily? Where did Emily?
I don't remember why I named her Emily. I think her name was always Emily. And I think Emily was just sort of like, she wants to be something more interesting than her namesake, essentially, is how I think of her. Like, she's like a cartoon.
Yeah.
But she wants to be a Celeste. Celeste is like a next level human.
Yeah.
The movie was originally set in Austin, very similar set pieces, but it was with her sister.
Oh, okay.
And her sister was like pregnant, and the sister lets her stay here. But the latest version of the script was, no, it's her ex-boyfriend, and she's staying, which I think is way more compelling to be in their home.
Yeah, her sister wouldn't kiss her neck.
No,
you wouldn't have had that scene.
I love this. Another one of those I think we shot this here, actually. Our production department did this, and I thought it was so good. Especially when they spelled Mr. M-I-S-T-E-R.
I was just going to ask about that.
Of course. She fucking left for book club. I'm still mad for her. Of course she went to book club. I will say I am now a lady who does like things like book club, so I'm not a judgmental person.
You're turning into a Celeste.
I was always wanting to be Celeste. Don't ever tell me to calm down either.
Okay. I wasn't planning on it.
I feel like people do that to me and I'm like, whoa.
We've got like 20 more minutes in the commentary, so I don't know. It might happen.
Okay.
I'm going to try not to though.
Okay. This is when kids say things are cringe. This is cringe. But it was kind of meant to be.
It's supposed to be cringe.
It's supposed to be cringe.
It's one of those dumb relationship things that if you explained it to anyone else, you'd be like, oh, this sucks. Why am I telling you this? Yeah.
But I feel bad for Nick because he had to do this.
You made him cringe.
I made him be cringe, and I feel for him.
Yes.
Sometimes I think cringe is just people feeling uncomfortable with vulnerability.
Sure, yeah.
So
I also don't like, this is just me, old man Patrick right here, when kids say something is cringe, I'm usually like, Yeah, The Office is cringe. That is the point of that
right.
show. You know what I mean?
Do
Like,
they say The
stop
Office
saying
is
it.
cringe?
Yeah, but it's just like stop saying that as a
Oh.
negative. That's why they made it like that.
Yeah, the show is supposed to be awkward.
Yes.
Because people in an office are.
Yeah. So shut up, kids.
Yeah, shut up, kids. Just because you don't understand what it was like to be authentic.
Yes. Just because you weren't alive in 2004. Shut up.
Look, but see, she's so cringe. She brings out the guitar and he's like,
course.
"Oh God, stop! This
Yeah.
is so embarrassing." He's like, "Stop, you little weirdo." Ugh. I'm getting secondhand embarrassment though for her.
Yeah.
What am I doing? What am I doing? What
But
does that mean?
you like playing weirdos.
Maybe
You do. Yeah, that maybe said it all.
I like playing. Yeah, I mean, I don't mind embarrassing myself. No, at all.
When did that start?
Well, because I was a very embarrassing kid.
Yeah.
And to take away that stigma of being embarrassing, I'd have to, you'd have to embrace it. But there is a part of me that wants to be elegant and proper and,
I get it.
She's the like most unkempt version of me. Or like, I think I already said, she's the most chaotic. I was never this person.
Yeah.
I had more sense of style, I think. And like I said, I'm an uptight lady.
Do you have a favorite
God, I'm hungry.
taco
Wow.
place in Austin?
No, there's just
Okay.
so many good ones.
Do you have a favorite one in LA?
No, there aren't very
Okay.
many good ones.
I like one. I'm gonna plug one. It's in Silver Lake, Mideast Tacos.
Mideast?
Mideast.
Mideast. Oh, I like Mideast.
I like it a lot.
But it's so good, but it gives me heartburn.
Yeah.
And so the sweet spot is, can you have delicious tacos that don't destroy your stomach?
Sure. Yeah.
It's because they have like a
It's got the seasoning on it. And
Mediterranean flair.
Yeah.
I can't do Mediterranean food. It upsets my stomach.
Okay. Your loss.
I know. But I went there once and I was like, these are incredible. And then I
Yeah.
got so sick.
Okay.
This is my friend Trin. I wrote this part for her.
Yeah.
I knew her in college and she was the funniest person I ever
Oh, that's amazing.
met. And I just was like, this woman's so funny.
Is she an actress?
No.
Cool.
I just wrote her. I just was like, I can't wait to put her in something. I did 2 pilots for Comedy Central and she was in one of the pilots as the character. It didn't go, but I will continue putting Trin in.
That's so cool.
Everything. And then the guy with Trin is Sean White, who was the head of one of the leads of the art department. So,
Oh, wow.
and I just cast him.
Yeah. I mean, he's got a good look.
And he's great.
Yeah.
He and I both would do braids on set because his hair. So I would do my braids and he would do his braids.
That's great. For those pilots, do you own those now, or do they still own it?
That's such a great question. I think.
Like, could you put them up?
I think I could put them up, and they're both set in Austin.
Yeah.
And I've rewatched them, and they hold up.
Yeah.
The only question is do we want to burn them or do I don't
course.
know, but if anybody wants to see my pilots, I will show them to you.
Okay.
They're really good.
I would like to see your pilots. Maybe we'll do commentaries on them, but not let other people watch them.
Yes.
There you go. That's the move.
Daniela is playing, so this character Jen is like an amalgamation of a few people, but there was a woman that I knew in Austin when I first moved to Austin that was like her, who was just incredible, had all these friends, would always bring you into the fold.
Yeah.
And her name was Jen, and I named Jen after Jen.
And those are Danielle's real tattoos.
Those are Danielle's real tattoos.
Yeah.
She was she had drumming experience, and then she took lessons to get even better. So she's like really drumming. Also, I'll tell you this was the craziest thing. This entire evening was shot in one evening.
Wow.
And when I realized that we were going to shoot all of this in one night, I was so angry.
Sure.
Because at that time I was like so overwhelmed by everything. And I was like, wait, we're only doing the house part. And we shot at like 6 p.m. to 6 a.m.
Wow.
So it's
a
so
lot of
chaotic.
extras. There's a lot of going on.
Extras. Like I'm trying to do like some Charlie Chaplin shit. You know, they're trying to play music. But just so people know why it's so like
dirty. It's dirty. It's messy.
It's dirty. It's messy.
But I think
it was
that's
shot
good.
in one night.
That's cool.
And a lot of these extras were film students. We put like an ad up, and they thought what we were doing was so cool. They were just so down. It was like they were really partying.
Yeah. I mean, I'm sure
Trin
it's nice.
is improvising a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
We're just like making things up.
I was gonna say, I'm sure it's nice for them to see like This is a Texas person making a movie. That's what we're doing. You know, like, I'm sure it's inspiring for them.
I hope so.
Yeah.
I hope so. It's true. Anyone can do this.
What did you learn as a director making this?
I learned that, well, what did I learn?
It's also a big question. You can think about it too.
Well, I learned some things about myself as a director, which is that I know what I'm doing. And part of what works for me as a director is that I really like letting people do what they're good at and not control too much, but that I also have to be assertive. And I think sometimes because I was so open to what was happening, people took that as a sign that I didn't know what I was doing. So then there were times where I had to really, really be assertive, and then people would be like, whoa, what's happening?
Sure.
Because I seemed so nice. So I now have a spiel when I direct things now, when I'm like, listen, I want everybody to have a good time, but if I bark at you, I'm not mad at you.
Yeah.
I just see something and
I
don't
need
take
you
it
to do
personally.
it. Just do it.
Just do it. It's nothing personal, and it works. Like just giving the spiel, no one takes it personally now.
Yeah. 13 million views on this video.
This one, yeah.
It's a lot.
I have one, this is a reference to a video that I did.
No.
I had a video that went viral. That was me lip syncing to Britney Spears' Toxic, pouring food on my head in the shower. And it went so incredibly viral.
Yeah. But you can't monetize it.
Like but you I can't monetize it.
Because of the music.
But so that was definitely a reference to something that happened to me. By the way, if people are savvy, they can find
I'm sure it's out there, yeah.
This video.
Oh, interesting.
On YouTube. You just have to look up the
Oh, wow.
I don't know where it is, but it's
I wonder
uploaded.
how many views it has.
I feel like
I assume not 13 million.
No, I had a feeling. I feel like the last time I looked, which was like 5 years ago, it had like 30 views. It was like not a lot of views.
We'll post it on our Patreon. We'll post the link on the Patreon.
It was definitely for diehard Mr. Roosevelt fans. Yes. Another cringe moment. Listen, I was just an earnest girl trying to make her dreams come true. I love that by this point I have bruises all over my legs as a human because I was just falling, tripping into things.
Sure. Yeah.
Oh my God, I'm so embarrassed for myself.
But this isn't you. This is Emily.
Yeah.
You're embarrassed for Emily.
I'm embarrassed for myself for not pulling this off exactly how I imagined it to be.
Oh, really? I think it's so funny.
Oh, good.
I do.
Good. Okay.
And I want to say also, Brian, who is normally my co-host, was truly so upset he couldn't be here today because he loved this movie. Like, I've never heard him say that he has fully loved the movie that we were watching if he had never seen it before.
That makes me so happy.
He loved this movie.
I'm such like a silly lady.
Yeah.
And I wish that makes me happy.
Yeah.
I'm also a person that needs words of affirmation to feel like really grounded in what's real. So that's nice. So suddenly I'm like, oh, this is so great.
No, it's great. It's great. It's funny and it's charming and it's great.
Oh, good.
What is EK?
It's leaks, the leaks.
Oh,
so I think
okay.
She's just the EK of
got
the
it,
leaks.
Got it.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
This bike was sent to me by my producer. I found it on Craigslist in Austin for the movie. And then he ended up mailing it to me in LA.
Do you still have it?
And it literally got stolen from my garage like the movie about 9 months ago.
Oh, no.
And I was like, maybe that's good luck.
Yeah. You have to search on eBay like Mr. Roosevelt screen used bicycle.
Also, Nick Thune is so much taller than me. I ordered platform shoes online that were like 4 inches tall, and he's still so much taller than me.
You're wearing them in this scene?
In this scene,
I mean, you're not even at his shoulders.
Platform shoes. We have a picture of me, like, and I don't even feel like a short. I don't feel like a short person.
Yeah,
but
he's very tall.
Very tall.
Yeah.
Okay, this is getting hot. All right. Did me and Nick were we making this was crazy. This was his last night on set.
I mean,
and
that's
we got
the way
drunk.
to do it. Yeah.
We got drunk. It was very uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Just because, intimacy's intense.
Yes.
Like,
especially between people I assume it's got to be
I knew him. Yeah. I also was the director.
Yeah.
So it gets like a little, it's intense.
Yeah.
But yeah, we were also shooting this. I think at 4 a.m.
Oh my God.
The sun is coming up in the background.
Almost exclusively overnights, it feels like.
This entire section of the movie, it was a week of overnights. And so it was like I would sleep during the day, maybe 2 hours. And then I did not sleep for, it was very hard.
Yeah. I've worked on 2 movies. One of them was only for one day. It was the Lady Ghostbusters. And it was an overnight in New York, and everything got cut. They did not use any of it in the movie. The other movie was a movie called It Comes at Night. It was an A24 movie with Joel Edgerton, and I worked on it for like 5 weeks as a PA. And they shot a week of overnights, and all of the overnights got cut.
Damn.
It was like one of those things where I was like, this sucks. I'm never working on a movie again.
Well, fortunately, literally half this movie was overnights, and they're all the overnights are in here.
Yeah.
There is a scene there. What ended up getting cut was a lot of like hot outside stuff because it was so hot. There was like one scene that isn't in the movie, but we had a cop who was towing her car. There was like a whole other storyline, and we cast this cop, and we did it for like 4 hours, and he's just sweating, and Daniela's sweating, and it just didn't come out right because it didn't come together, and we had to it was the first thing we cut, and I felt so bad for him, and he contacted me a couple times being like, can I at least have the scenes?
Sure.
And I was like, I have no idea where they are. And sometimes one of the things you start figuring out as a director is that you let down so many people constantly, and it sucks. It sucks because so many people work so hard to even get to a moment.
Sure.
And then they want to have the work to show for it, and then you're the bad guy, whether you meant to be or not.
Yeah. How often do you mean to be versus how often do you not mean to be?
The bad guy?
Yeah.
I have tried to be like a bad, like a purposefully bad guy once or twice, and it felt so bad. I was like, this is just not my path in life. I am definitely the person people are going to be mad at for just misunderstanding me. Yeah, I find that people are mad at me a lot, and I'm like, I'm like, what's happening? I like you so much. Why are you so mad? I've learned that that's projection, right?
I think so.
And I'm learning now to be like, to give it, to like really not internalize it.
Yeah.
And also look at, I'm like, okay, did I do something wrong? Can I make it up to this person? Or is this just completely some fabrication that's happening in their brain and I'm just in the line of fire? It's like quite often that.
I would try not to stress about it too much. I know that's a hard thing to say.
No, I'm learning to not stress about it.
I want to say we are lying on couches right now, and this very much feels like a therapy session right now.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. My whole life for the past 10 years been therapy, just being like, why is it so hard?
Yeah. That last scene, it was a lot of, you're given a lot in that scene. Like you were acting your butt off.
Oh.
Is that like, do you enjoy stuff like that?
I love acting.
Yeah. I know, but it's a dumb question, but it's also like, it's not being silly and falling around and doing the comedy stuff. Like,
I prefer it. I wish I was in more dramas. Yeah. I wish I was acting a lot more. I've been just doing a lot of voiceover lately, but I feel like I think my favorite kind of actor is like an actor who can be comedic, but you know that comedy's coming from like deep pain, Sure. And so they have all those other levels. And so like I feel like no one knows how hard I can go yet. And that's
you screaming fuck you right there. That's
I didn't like my acting in that part though. I wish somebody was directing me.
It was good. We wouldn't be watching. Yes.
This scene
feels like it could go one of two ways. Like, I'm like, oh, is this movie about to get real dark right now?
I think that's awesome. Well, I wrote the scene in Austin as the movie was like in pre-production because somebody in the art department or the prop department had a gun. And I thought it was, and I don't know how I found it. Was like, I think it was Sean. He was like, I just got this gun.
Oh my God.
And I just thought it was so funny. And when I cast Andre, I sent him pictures of one of my boyfriends in college with a gun. Cause I was like, you're like this asshole. You're like this guy. Yeah. And then I was like, oh, I gotta just write now there's a gun. We gotta write this scene. So I wrote it.
So that's a real gun.
It's a real gun.
Wow.
And the funny thing is so I wrote this scene, but so many of the lines in this truck, Andre just improvises. Yeah. And me and my editor, we found one of these takes where he and I are just improvising, and we almost missed it. And it's so like he was like, it's not gonna bite you, and then I say, oh no, it's gonna shoot you, shoot me, and that was improvised.
That's great.
All of this scene is improvised, all of it.
It's okay. I still have a boner. It's very funny.
I literally gave him 2 directions.
Yeah.
And I forget, one of them was just basically like, bite my butt. It was like, you got to bite my butt. And then when we're done, you have to say, that's it. Everything else was just us romping and Damar in a room, and Damar's laughing the entire time.
It's so funny. A lot of booties. You're putting all the booties in.
Listen, I wasn't going to have girls get naked and not have guys get naked, right?
Yeah.
We're going to pass the Bechdel test, and we're going to make...
and the Boot-Del test?
I don't know. Basically, if there's a Noël Wells movie and a girl has to do it or a woman has to do it, a guy is going to have to do it too.
I think that's a good rule to have.
Yes. This is one of my favorite scenes too.
Oh,
this
God,
was also
so
written this was written for this room in this scenario. Like, I remember I was like, hey, can somebody make some semen? I was like, I think I want to have semen on the shirt.
What is that?
It was like baking soda or like something. A good shirt. Yeah. Oh, that shirt was a vintage shirt that I found, and then we ended up reworking the logo and then screen printing several versions, so we'd have several versions of it. I don't sound annoying when I'm talking about this, right?
No, okay, that's the purpose of this podcast.
Look at the arrows here too. It's so good. They're just on the wall.
Yeah.
Thanks, Claire Zanecker.
The purpose of this podcast is to talk about this stuff.
Yeah, this cat party. I love this scene.
Yeah. Yeah.
I love this scene. I love all the people we cast.
I mean, they just all look like real people that would be at this party. You know what I mean? Like, it's great.
Andre. He's so funny. He made me laugh so hard.
He's great.
We improvised a lot of this too. And we shot just 2 setups. This shot and then that one. So this whole scene is just 2. And I wanted it that way. I was like, just follow behind. I want this to be very dirty, and I wanted a lot of the movie to feel like that. Like, just 2 setups.
Were there any movies that you gave to people as like comps for what you wanted the movie to feel like?
I had some comps in my head, but I think there was a lot of references to, for me, it was like Swingers, just energetically of like, we're shooting an indie film, folks.
Yes. Yeah.
So Swingers was one, but for some of her paranoia, I always had Rosemary's Baby in my head. Even though no one's going to know that and it isn't similar, but to me it was like I had Rosemary's Baby on my soundtrack because I wanted her to feel delusional and
Sure.
But no, I know that people say things like I've seen people be like, oh, she took from this Charlize Theron movie, Big Adult,
Young Adult.
Young Adult.
Yeah.
I've never seen.
I like Big Adult.
Whatever. I've never seen that movie,
Yeah.
so I don't even know what it's about. And then people say that this scene is like Bridesmaids, and I did see that movie, but I don't remember what they're talking about.
Interesting.
Is it just because she's melting down?
Yeah, I guess that's what they're saying for Young Adult too. There is like a party scene where she has a meltdown, and that's probably what they're thinking. Well, listen. That can happen in more than one movie.
A lot of people have meltdowns.
Yes, totally.
But I will say, if anything, there could be osmosis with Kristen Wiig because she is such an inspirational person. But I did not make.
Did you do a Wiig impression
in the beginning of the movie?
Yeah. That's what I thought.
For me, there was never.
Yeah.
Like I'm pretty touchy about things being similar to other things.
Yeah, totally.
Unless it's on purpose. So. But it doesn't mean that I'm not impacted by.
Of course.
You know.
And also, things can happen in 2 movies.
I know.
It's fine.
I know, but it puts me.
I'm not even saying that to you. I'm saying to someone else.
Well, I know it's like like Synecdoche, New York. People are like, oh, that's just like 8.5.
Yeah.
But then they're like, we never saw that movie.
Sure.
And if you watch the movies, they're so different.
Yes.
But if you have a similar type of mind and you're a writer and you're of course you're going to start doing like a nesting.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to start. Yeah. I love her, Kelly. She's so talented.
Was there anyone else that you flew in from LA besides the main?
No,
the main
we
people?
tried our best to make everybody local. So
Cheaper.
No, I mean it was cheaper, but
Yeah.
it was really my intention to cast. We even tried to cast Jen in Austin because I really wanted her to be from Austin.
Yeah.
But Daniela, she auditioned 3 times, and we were just like, it's Daniela.
Yeah.
She's incredible.
Yeah.
That's Natalie Holmes. I've known her since high school.
Oh, wow.
I used to do speech and debate tournaments, and she was like, yeah, you were my nemesis. And I was like, I was? Because we were both in high school together. Yeah. Or not together, but we were in high school, and we would see each other at speech and debate tournaments. Yeah. Ted, I used to work with at Esther's Follies. That's JD in the back, who is our assistant director, or our assistant director. I don't know what you call it, second assistant.
Does you casting her in the movie take away you guys being enemies for her?
I think so. Yeah, I think we become friends.
Yeah.
And it's also how I've always felt. I'm like, no one's my enemy.
Yeah.
I just love when people are talented.
Yeah. But I think people have those secret enemies that you never tell anyone about.
I do have one secret enemy.
It's me. You can say it.
It's you.
It's fine.
This is what I'm doming you right now. I agreed to do your podcast just so I could be on top here.
Yep. A huge moment for Emily right there.
Huge moment. She's become the monster officially. She's everything she hates.
Mm-hmm.
She's a capitalist. This is my favorite.
What do you
I love this part. Just using the urn like it's a bomb.
Yes. What do you think happened to her?
Emily?
Yeah. What's she up to?
You know
what's
what's
she
funny?
doing?
When you mean what happened to her later?
Yeah.
She has a podcast. She has a podcast, and she's married to a former SNL cast member.
Wow.
Yeah, I think that's what happened. That's
Lovitz?
John Lovitz, yes. She married John Lovitz. And and she might have eventually got, like, maybe she became the Celeste she's always wanted. Mm-hmm. And maybe is thinking about having a skincare line.
Okay.
Maybe just
Great.
Or some kind of pyramid.
Yeah.
It's pyramid scheme. She's scheming.
Scheme adjacent. Yeah.
She's scheming.
Yeah.
I'll tell you, I love this scene because I think it's the prettiest scene in the movie. I don't know how else to describe it. I thought that it looked the most like a movie to me.
Sure. The lighting on the Daniela shot is, but like you have the window too, which is adding to you, but like
I just think it looks so gorgeous.
Yeah.
And I took the ashes. I have a friend right now who I want to give this Daniela. I want to give the Jen treatment to.
Oh, yeah?
I want to be like, could you just watch my movie and just think of yourself as Emily because you need to grow up.
Oh, in real life.
In real life, I have a friend.
Oh, okay. I thought you were saying you wanted to cast them and like give them a part like this.
No, she should. It's like just this person who's like like she'll say things like, "I don't want to be a waitress," and you're just like, "Cool, I am one," right? Or like, "I wouldn't want to." She'd say things that I'm literally doing, like.
I don't want to make a movie about a girl going back to Austin because
Ew, I can't believe I don't want to make a 16mm film. Ugh, gross.
Did you have...
I still say I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's okay.
That is a real thing about me. My sorries are different than Emily's sorries, though. Hers are more pathetic or more like, I'm sorry, I'm sorry. Whereas my sorries are like, oh, I'm sorry. Sure. I'm sorry. Do you hear the difference?
Yes, I do.
I love this scene for me as an actor.
Yes, it's great.
I like how Muppety I am. To me, this felt like my Steve Martin moment. Right there.
He hates these cans. It's one of those. Yeah.
Fuck everyone.
Yeah.
I love Daniela in this scene because she was improvising a lot of this, and she was really locked into the energy of this. Like, I'm just here to help. She was like totally she was just coming up with that. I just want to hit you with a little bit of water. She's just totally making all that up. This was also one of the funnest scenes to shoot because it was also one of those ones where I was like, Damar, we have 2 setups.
Yeah.
One here and one
Her
there.
and me, and that's it. Yeah.
And I was like, and you're going to do this and you're going to do this. And I barked at her, and I was always really afraid of barking at her. But it worked. Like, we both were so locked in.
Well, you got to you're putting her in the headspace a little bit
putting
too.
her in the headspace, and also there was just so much to get done and so fast. And I was like, there's no pussyfooting around here.
Yeah, sure.
I was like, we got to do slow-mo here. We're doing it at this frame rate.
I just saw theme music fades out. I wanted to go back to Ryan.
Oh yeah,
a little bit because I feel like we didn't get to talk.
Oh yeah, because we didn't hear it.
Yeah,
it
yeah. It's
us.
hard to do sound stuff on these because you're not hearing it. Did you just give him a feeling, or did he see the movie and then score it?
I think he saw the movie. I think there was an idea of, I was like, there's a level of twee we want this to be. The twee it can be, but not so twee that there's like a fine line between indie twee and then it being too cutesy.
Sure.
And I had some of the themes. There were like a couple of refrains. There was Emily's theme, the do 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 do, that we bring back a bunch of times. But then there was also, I had some references that I wanted it to feel like Amblin, like Steven Spielberg, because she thinks like life is a movie, and then it gets cut off. And then there was the theme of like anytime she's paranoid. So it's like her Rosemary's Baby. And then there was things like at the Greenbelt, when she's like taking off her bra or her bathing suit, we call that's like track is called Titty Ghost. And I was like, we want this to be really primal. And that was the track that I was doing all the voices on.
Oh,
so like
okay.
the ooh, ooh, like I was recording all that and he mixed it all together.
Oh, that's cool.
And there's a soundtrack out.
I was going to ask about that.
Yeah, it's on Spotify, but it was put out by Abco.
Oh yeah.
So you can go and listen to Titty Ghost if you want to.
Cool.
I love this. Also, the way this looks, it looks so much like a movie to me.
Are you guys able to watch playback on set?
It was very funny. We had a thing called I don't know what it was called. It was called a video tap. Where we would record. It was tapped into the camera, and it was recording on a little DV.
Oh, sure.
So we could play it back if we had to, and it was black and white.
Wow.
And it was very small.
Yeah.
But during the party scene when we were doing that, the kids thought that that's what the movie was going to look like. They were like, wow, that's so avant-garde.
Clerks, man.
Yeah, totally. We're like, no, it's going to look better. But we only did playback to check for continuity, or if it was like, because Dahmer was like, basically like, you got it.
Yeah.
If we got it, we got it.
I saw it. You got it.
Yes,
you're good. Yeah.
But if for any reason either one of us was like, we don't know, that's when we would watch it back. It was a lot of, we're framing it up. I look through the thing, make sure we have the right lens, make sure. And like I said, I was a script supervisor.
Yeah, that's so much.
It was wild. I didn't know how. I don't know how I did it.
Yeah. What would you, if you were doing this today, what would you change?
I would have a script supervisor.
Yeah.
I would have less people on set.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
It was to the point where I think we did favored nations, which I would do again. Like, I loved that everybody was like getting paid very equitably. No one was more than anybody in any given role. And I think it was just, I just loved that.
That's nice.
Because it really set a style of like, it's like we're all equals here. But there were times where I was wondering, sometimes I would be like, well, why is this person, if this person isn't as engaged as this person, do we need them? And that's a terrible, you know, but it would take away from things like I had a $15 makeup budget. And I'm like, if you're making a movie, what's on screen is you kind of have to put a little bit more energy into it, or like set aside a little bit more. So there were little things like that where I would say, well, maybe we don't need as many people in this department, so that we could have a little bit more of a costume budget.
Totally.
Or our production design budget. We were so lucky that so many people in Austin were so generous. But if we hadn't had their generosity, the movie wouldn't look as good as it.
Harder to make it happen.
Yeah, it would be harder to make it happen. So I think it would just be about figuring out how to allocate funds in a way that it's still really fair to everybody. but that the people that are as engaged are the ones that are getting. By the way, these are all mostly pictures I took in Austin as well, except for all the ones with the cab.
Cool. Did you just throw dirt on the camera there? Is that how that kind of shot works?
No, they dug a hole in the ground, and then they had like a piece of plexiglass.
Oh, okay.
And then they set the camera under there, and then
yeah. It was a stupid question, but
no,
I just thought about it while I was watching it. Yeah.
It was actually fun because those are the things that we got to figure out in the process.
Yeah.
So our production designer, Jake Kuykendall, and Sean, they figured out, how are we going to pull this off?
Mm-hmm. Do people bury urns?
That's such a great question.
Yeah.
So I've been asked that a couple times, and I'm like, I don't know.
Yeah, for this they did.
They did, just to put it, it's like, let's bury it.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't think so, but I think if it was like an urn box, you could bury it, but the movie was originally called Bury the Cat, like as a play on Save the Cat. Yeah. And somebody was like, you can't do that. That's so dumb.
No, I think that's funny.
But we called it during the filming of the movie. It was BTC, Bury the Cat was our filming title.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I don't think people bury urns, but for a movie, whatever.
Who cares? It's fine.
I think maybe it was better so nobody's fighting over the urn.
Sure.
Yes. You know.
Yes.
That's my ex-boyfriend, Dave. That's
Amazing.
like my actual ex.
Amazing.
That the movie's sort of based on.
Oh, wow.
And we work together now. We've worked through everything. He's married.
That's cool.
We're working on a song right now.
Cool.
I also really like the way this scene looks. It looks like a movie to me.
Yeah. The color on your dress really pops so much, which is great. Oh, here's a question I had. Why did Emily not name that video? It's just called IMG 2067. This is real in the weeds, but it is a question.
Let me think about that.
Yeah. Come back to me.
I'm trying to remember. Oh, you know why? There was a very specific reason. She uploaded it that night when she was drunk. She literally uploads it that night when she's drunk.
Okay.
So she just was like, wow, this is so cool. That's why
it's going up.
Yeah,
great.
it's just going up.
A great answer.
No, I knew there.
Yeah.
There was no level of specificity.
I assumed there was a reason.
Yes, I was like, there has to be a reason.
Yeah.
But it was because of that. She's just on a whim.
Alcohol. Blaming alcohol.
Also, her the spaghetti bath is like sequence something. Mm-hmm. Because I was intentionally, jokingly uploading things without titles as when I was doing that, just to be funny.
Sure. What is that across the street? Did you see that?
I think it's a piñata store.
Cool.
Yeah.
Cool.
This was shot in East Austin, so it was very real. And look at this. When we get to the end.
We did it.
I remember when the movie was said and done and we played, and me and Terrell Gibson, who was the editor, and we did the credits. Mm-hmm. I just thought it was such an incredible thing. Like, people don't realize how much goes into making a film. And I felt so... See, look, there's Flint as a producer. Yeah. I was like, you want to be a producer? I'll make you a producer in the credits. Which he still doesn't think is funny.
Yeah.
But just it takes so many people to do this. And yeah, I think it's so cool. It's so miraculous and so wonderful. And I feel very lucky that I got to do this, and I can't wait to do it again. And yeah.
It's great.
There's just so many people make a movie.
It's amazing. Even seeing a movie that does not cost a lot of money and is seemingly a very small movie, you're still like, look how many set PAs there are. Yeah. You know, like, look how many, even Los Angeles unit, it's a totally different crew for the most part.
Yeah, it was a totally different group of people.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's so cool. Teddy Blanks, there's Teddy. I mean, all these people, it's like bringing me back. Eric Friend, I was shout out, he did the sound design, and he, one of the things I love about the film is the sound design of the movie. And he had actually on his own, or like as part of his sound design business, he had all these tracks of ambient sound he had recorded in Austin.
Oh, cool.
So like Austin birds, Austin traffic, like Austin, like, and so we were able to pull from his bank of authentic Austin recordings.
That's neat.
That's the kind of nerd where he and I'm just like, this is so cool,
yeah.
Eric.
And it's so specific.
It's so specific. And
did you know most of the people on the soundtrack? How did you get a lot of the music?
So basically, most of the people on the soundtrack, a lot of the songs I had on a playlist before the movie was even greenlit. Mm-hmm. And a lot of the people just said yes. So that was so wonderful to be like, hey, I've like, for instance, Fruit Bats, the song Flamingo, which is in the opening credits. I had always imagined the opening to that song. It just felt so right. And I reached out to them and I told them that. And I was like, we want to do this whole thing to your song, but we have to get your permission first. And they said yes. And like, we follow each other on Instagram.
Cool.
And I feel like that's so cool because I think their music is so good and so wonderful. And then like this last song in the movie is Heartless Bastards. I've never met them or had no correspondence, but it was a movie that was brought to me by Dan Wilcox, who was the music supervisor, and he worked that out. And some of the other tracks, it was like a mix of things I had already wanted to be there.
Yeah.
And literally everything that I had wanted to be there, we got permission to. And then everything else, it was sort of like, then we pulled from a bank of things we knew we could get. And I would just find the right song. Like during the song with, I know we're done, but
no, it's okay.
But do you include this?
Keep going.
Okay, so in the scene with Art and Jen in the truck, there's a song called "Money Makes the World Go Round."
Yeah,
it's literally a royalty-free music track.
Yeah.
That we found, and I thought it was so funny, and so we put that in, and now that's on the soundtrack. But it was like royalty-free,
that's amazing.
Just like a free. Like if you just sign up for a bank, it's like money makes the world go round. It's like a song I would have written for that scene.
A fake song. It sounds like a fake song.
Fake song.
Last question, then we can wrap up. Why was Wyatt Russell thanked?
Because I lived in their house.
Oh, really?
I lived in his house and Meredith.
Yeah,
Meredith.
Yeah.
I lived in their house.
Oh, cool.
While we were filming it.
Great.
Yeah, that's why.
A great reason.
Yeah, and it was a wonderful house. And I think I got yellow dye on their towels, and I'm so sorry.
If
from
you're
one
just
of my
finding
shirts.
out now, yeah.
Sorry, I will pay for your towels now. I couldn't then because I was so confused and scattered, but I will now.
Thank you so much for doing this.
Thank you so much. This was so nice to watch it and not hate it.
Goodbye, everyone.
Bye.
Brian, did you enjoy listening to it?
Yeah, it was good. I learned a lot. I would have learned more and had a better time if I was there.
Sure. Right. We tried.
She did, by the way, invite herself to the Minions 3 premiere because I missed this recording. So you're going to have to take her as your +1 for Minions 3.
That's fine.
Okay. You have a girlfriend.
I'll bring Noel. Sure. Noel can come with us.
Okay. Great.
You can't get three tickets, Brian?
Would I only invite you and Noel? I have to invite my family. This is no offense to you, my better friends.
Wow.
But well, then Noel, I've never met her.
Who are your better friends than me and Noel?
I mean, there's a lot. I'm super popular, and also I have a lot of Hollywood friends who are my friends because they think I'm gonna get them gigs, which I won't. I'm telling my friends that right now. I'm not gonna do that.
Sure. Like the guy. Oh God, what's his name? Johnny Grant, the mayor of Hollywood. Is he dead? He might be dead.
Who's Johnny Grant?
He was the mayor of Hollywood who would always go to the Walk of Fame ceremonies.
Right. Or Melrose Larry Green from the Howard Stern Show, who I've run into many, many times in life.
Wow.
Yeah. Oh, should we tell a Melrose Larry Green story? I have a good one.
I don't know who this is, but sure.
I think this will be great because people missed me on this episode. So if I tell a story, it's not a complete waste of time. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So Melrose Larry Green is a guy who would report from Melrose with with signs about Howard Stern, and he's a crazy rich person. And I went to Howard Stern's birthday party once. With Brian Quinn, and when we went, we met him. We talked to him for a while, and it was fun. And he was much more normal than I thought he would be. So I was walking around Monmouth Mall about a year later with my girlfriend, named Lorene, and now she's the directed Hustlers and stuff like that. But back then, she and I were just Jersey kids hanging out at Monmouth Mall, and I saw Melrose Larry Green walking around Monmouth Mall. And who was he walking with, Patrick? Who was he walking with? I'll give you 2 guesses.
Sal Vulcano.
No. One more guess.
Beetlejuice.
No, he was walking with Jackie Mason, who was in a full magenta suit and fully made up, right? Like completely made up.
Sure.
And I walked up to him and said, Larry, I don't know if you remember me. He did remember me. I think as many people don't talk to him. He was Jackie's opener for a comedy show that night.
Wow.
So,
Okay.
so I was like, oh, by the way, I said to Jackie, I go, I'm a huge fan of yours. I think you're great.
Yeah.
And he goes, would you say that I inspired you to do what you do? Because Melrose introduced me as a comedy screenwriter. And I say, Jackie, do you want me to say that? And he's like, I would really like you to say that. And I said, okay, then Jackie, if not for you, I wouldn't have done anything I do. And he said, thank you. And then at that point, maybe like we talked for like 2 minutes, an old lady runs up and almost like knocks Jackie over hugging him. And he's like, I know, I'm just so popular. He goes, you know that this kid wouldn't be doing what he does if not for me? And I'm like, it's true. So we had a little bit, and it was really nice. It was really nice.
That's very fun.
Yeah, it was nice. And then he died.
Did you mention Caddyshack too?
I think I did. Actually, I think I did. It didn't go over well. I forget how I brought up Caddyshack too. But of course I did. It's really all I knew Jackie from at that time in my life. Maybe I thought he was the anteater in the Pink Panther cartoons, but it wasn't. It was just someone doing a Jackie Mason impression. Anyway, that was Mr. Roosevelt with Noël Wells.
What a movie. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. It's a very fun one. And I was sad to miss Brian on this. Brian, I missed you.
I didn't enjoy this episode as much.
Yeah. And I'll give a spoiler. There is another episode that we recorded that day that you also missed. I'm so sorry.
Sounds really good, too. It sounded like a really good time.
Yeah.
Whatever.
You'll find out.
Mm-hmm. But not next week's. I'll be back next week.
You will be back next week. We got a good one next week. I'm very excited for next week. It's another repeat guest working on a new show that we have not spoken about yet.
I don't know which one it is. I can't wait to talk about it with you.
Brian, I will talk to you soon.
Well, unless you and Noel have something to do and you don't include me.
We made plans. We're friends.
God, what if you guys go to Minions 3 and I can't go?
Oh God, Brian, what if you don't work on the movie when that movie comes out and we get invited and you don't?
But I'm already working on it. I wrote the movie.
Sure, but what if they take your name off?
Oh my God, yeah. What if it gets a complete rewrite and then
I'm saying.
I get booted? Well, then have a good time. I don't want to see it if I didn't work on it.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Thanks for listening to Hey That's Me, a commentary podcast. This has been a That Was Just So Funny production. Your hosts have been Brian Lynch and Patrick Hotner. Music was by Alex Peabody, and our art was by Abigail Noy. You can find out more about the show by going to HeyThat'sMePod.com and checking out our Patreon at patreon.com/commentary. The show was recorded by Stephen Ray Morris. If you've enjoyed the show, please leave us a review on Apple Podcasts. Please tell your friends about this show.